Hi, I'm Larry Dignan with Constellation Insights, and we're here with Michael Storey. He is Chief Experience Officer at RentSpree, and he is in our Constellation Research AX100. Hi, Michael. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Larry. Thank you for having me.
So I guess let's just start from the top of what RentSpree does.
RentSpree is a rental property management software company. We started off as a screening and application provider, which was really targeted at prop techs and MLSs. We integrate through them and then provide our services to their real estate agents when they're managing rental applications. But we've evolved from that into more of a rental property full suite company. We really target the smaller mom and pop type landlords for property management. There's a lot of full stack property management software out there aimed at property managers. That's not really who we're going after.
So the use case is basically, I have a beach house. I'm going to rent it out. I want to do a credit check on the tenant or something like that. And that's kind of where you guys come in?
Yeah, it's, when you're looking for a tenant as a landlord, if you're, new to renting out property, or maybe you've got, a few properties and you want to save yourself time, we really zone in on the people who want to work with an agent to help them. There's a lot of complexity and compliance that needs to be considered. So the agent will help the landlord to market the property, to screen those tenants to make sure that they have good backgrounds, that they're reliable, that they're going to be a good tenant for the landlord. They can set up the lease on our site. They can also set up the security deposits and the payments, the ongoing rent payments. And so the agent can help the landlord with all of that through our website. And then the landlord can pick that up and take over at some point when they're ready. What we're really trying to do is to make sure that that agent stays connected to those landlords and tenants over time, so we can really, maximize the opportunity for the agent from their business perspective, but help the landlords and maintain a good reputation for those agents as well.
So is the end customer the agent or the landlord?
Well, we consider ourselves to have four kind of main cohorts, I suppose, that we consider. First of all, we talk to a lot of partner organizations. So we go to MLSs and prop techs, brokerages, and we try and help them to serve these products to their agents. So we partner with them. So they're our first sort of line of connection, but they're not our primary audience. We actually provide our services mainly historically have been for agents. So real estate agents who are listing agents who are going and working with landlords who want to rent out property. And, that landlord may have purchased the property from that agent, and then they're asking the agent to help them. The agent organizes a lot of this stuff, but more recently we've been bringing landlords into the space to try and collaborate within the environment. So things that are happening elsewhere that they're doing with lots of disparate tools, we're trying to make those centralized and convenient so as they can do all of those interactions within one platform. But then we also have the applicants and the renters. They're also our target audience. So we don't target them primarily in terms of marketing to them to sort of attract them directly. We're really primarily focused on agents, and then the landlords and the applicants come with the agent.
Okay. How do you approach CX and I guess what I'd call process friction? Because anyone who does anything with real estate, it's gotten a little easier here and there, but honestly, it still seems like it's a bit of a pain. So how do you approach that from, a CX, or do you view CX different from the actual process of, collecting the rent and screening tenants and things like that. I guess what's the intersection there?
Well, agents have a lot of admin, a lot of paperwork, a lot of tasks that they have to do, and a lot of things that they have to know. And so we spend a lot of time talking to them. We do a lot of generative research to find out where the problems are, how we can help them. And they seem to be using many different tools. They get used to tools that are poorly designed, and there's not a lot of automation that I can see going on in the industry. And so that's where we're trying to focus our energy, is how do we simplify the process for agents? How do we take away tasks through automation? And the use of AI is becoming more of a player in that space. How do we understand what they need to do, and to pre-fill as much of that information for them as possible, so it doesn't feel like work. We're trying to take away the work over time. Historically, that's been more challenging, but with AI coming in, that's becoming much more of a tangible thing that we can work on.
And how, I guess, what do you see as the intersection of AI and what's the role in CX overall?
I think it comes down to how we can, we've talked a lot in the past about human-centered design. And I think AI is really going to help us to get there, to be much more fluid in how we personalize experiences, how we create contextual information. If we can understand what that customer has been doing, what's the propensity that they will need to do X, Y, or Z next, and how do we kind of highlight the jobs to be done, and then do as much as we can to to automate that experience. So it's more of a for the user, it's more of a confirmation that that's what they want to do, or it's something that they feel they need to do, as opposed to having to fill out lots of forms, repeat themselves in some instances.
And I guess what's your take on, I guess the developments of AI in terms of, not only keeping up with it, but sort of creating optionality for your models and things like that? I guess, how do you think through that, or work with the AI team to think through that?
Yeah, we're still early in terms of our experiments with AI. We've had a lot of success with integrating AI into our chat support. So we basically integrated our knowledge base with our chat bot, and that's been very successful. We also set up an AI listing description where agents can come in, and when they want to create the property listing, they can just give some basic details, and then we'll create a listing description for them, saving them quite a bit of time. But I think we're starting to explore how we integrate AI across different features. So things we've been talking about are, how do we take away tasks? How do we use any of the data points that we have to be able to pre-fill information, to to understand what job that person needs to do next, and how do we make that as fluid as possible? Historically, I think, being a startup, we've built a lot of features and put them out there, but now what we're trying to do is to figure out how do we create a connected journey so we can fluidly take somebody through what they need to do. But not everybody wants to do things in the perfect happy path or sequence that you think they should. So really, AI is helping us to understand how can we have a deeper understanding of that individual customer, where they are in their journey, and how do we help them through the next task that they might have to do.
How do you view, I guess, the CX things you implement, and sort of how do you gauge whether it's a success or not?
I think traditionally there's been a lot of views of, asking the customer for feedback, asking the customer to rate something. We have NPS, we have CSAT. There's all sorts of different types of ways of measuring. And I've sort of become a little bit, I've changed my perspective on whether or not those things are actually useful. I think having user inputs come in, giving the user a chance to give you some comments or tell you their thoughts, that's great. But asking them to rate something, you tend to get very extreme perspectives, either very happy people or very unhappy people, and we miss a lot of the people in between who are getting on with it but don't feel compelled to write anything or to rate anything. So I tend to look at UX success metrics as being things like task success rate, time on task, error rates, daily active users, monthly active users, to tell us how sticky the product is. Really looking at things that lead to potentially lost revenue, support costs, time spent fixing issues. The churn rate is really one of the big ones.
And then I guess how has your approach to CX changed over time? I mean, I know it's a startup, you're moving, pretty quickly. I guess how much of CX is sort of the journey, and what recommendations you have for other folks?
Yeah, I think the thing that we've really been trying to do at RentSpree is to infuse a customer-focused approach with the product teams and any of the other the business teams. There's a number of different teams who are naturally on the front line there. The research team, the customer operations team, and we've been trying to make sure that they have a strong voice. They have a seat at the table to help contribute to what we do in our roadmap, but also how they help the rest of the company to truly understand the customer. So really infusing that customer focus, so as people understand not just that we want to focus on customer experience, but good customer experience leads to a thriving business. You can't really have a successful business if you don't do something that your customer loves. And so how do we get close to the customer, understand them deeply, understand their pain points, their problems, and how we help solve them?
All right. Any final things to add that I didn't ask?
I don't think so, unless there's something else you wanted to dig into.
No, I think we're good. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for the time.